today it's not so much about the task, which is actually really easy, drilling some holes. It's about how to hold the part without damaging it. So I guess I'll start, get this out of the way. So this is the chassis for a high-end audio amplifier. There's a pair of them. And they're machined from a block of billet or a casting, either way. Maybe billet's not the right word. Either way, a big block of aluminum. Taking everything out, it's all CNC'd, and it's got a very nice hard anodized finish on it. The owner wants a set of holes drilled along the front for ventilation, and this is the bottom piece of the chassis. And I'm going to, actually I'll take it back. The holes are not going to go along the front. They're going to be along the rear, 9 of them, 5/16, close to 8 millimeters, I think 9, maybe 10. I don't know, I have a drawing. And anyway, this is the bottom plate, and it will have them in its front. They correspond to the ones in the rear. And what that'll do is it'll allow a little air to flow in through the bottom, out through the top, and help cool the amplifier down. This is what's known as a Class D amplifier. They don't run particularly warm, they're very efficient, but it still produces a fair amount of waste heat, and they run, 120, 30 degrees inside the case. It's probably considerably hotter, and he wants to try to extend the lifespan because as electronics run cooler, they tend to last longer. So no problem. I'm actually the North American service for the folks that make these acoustic imagery. So I checked with the company owners and they were good with it. Obviously, the big criteria is not messing up the finish on this case, because it looks nice when it's all clean. Right now it's not. But so that means, how do I hold it without screwing it up? Pretty easy. You could clamp it down on the table of the mill. That would hold it, and it would also almost certainly leave marks on it. My vise will open up wide enough to hold it, just barely. But again, that leaves stuff on the side. I can put tape on it, which I'm going to put tape on it when I go to drill it, just in case any shavings spin around and try to scratch the finish, which I have seen happen before. So again, I don't want to hold it on the sides because it could damage it. One option that I thought of is holding it inside with the jaws pressing against here. The problem is that as I do that, it tends to push them out, and I set it on the vise and I did that, and I just wasn't very happy with it. So I spied in my pile of scrap this nice piece of 3/8 sheet, which had one factory edge and then one bandsawed edge. So what I did is, well, that looks about the right size, and it turns out that it is just big enough to do that. And what I'm going to do is just drill 4 holes in this plate that will line up with the holes in this chassis, and just bolt it down. That way I can put this in the vise, get it nice and tight. The only part of the chassis that will touch is this bottom edge, which is not seen, so if it doesn't look perfect, it doesn't matter because it's facing the ground. So that's not a problem. This had one factory edge, which, they're not perfect, but it's not too bad. And this one was kind of bandsawed. So what I did is I have I just got it earlier this week. I have a pretty big bandsaw that's got a 34-inch platen or something. Anyway, I squared it all up and I put this on there, and I got a pretty good flat edge. It will actually stand up pretty happily on a piece of iron and even on this wood. So that's pretty straight and square. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to sit in the vise. I put a piece of aluminum wire on this side, but it's just basically make a little fixture. The trick is, it's not really a trick too much, just what's important is that this be parallel and square to this plate, so that when I drill my roll of holes, they'll be in a straight line. So, I mean, nothing fancy. Just going to take a solid square and line it up. I'm sure this, hopefully this all shows up. If not, I just won't show it. Anyway, it's just line it up with a square. Pretty simple. It's not quite square. The spacing doesn't really matter. I'm just going to make it roughly equidistant on each side so that the chassis sits on here nice. So we'll just use a transfer punch and tap 4 holes and we'll be good to go. And then just drill these. These are 6mm, which is just under a 1/4 inch, I believe. Or pretty much right at it. 225. So if I just drill some 1/4 inch holes, that's fine. These are 257. They're 6.5mm, which is bigger than is needed. Let's see. So if we take a 1/4 inch punch, it'll be a little bit loose, but it's plenty close enough for this. So we'll just put 4 little pricks. And it hasn't moved. Looks good. So we'll put some good center punch marks in here and put it in the mill and just eyeball them, drill it, and put it in there. And we'll see if it works. Let me move the camera. Okay, we're over at the mill. Got the vise opened up. It's all clean. Put some parallels in. So we got one kind of crappy saw cut edge. One pretty good edge I ran across the belt sander. It's pretty flat and smooth. So we're going to put that against our fixed jaw. And fits in there pretty good. I mean, I could tighten it up like this. It's not like I'm going to mill on it. Probably wouldn't move much, but just take a piece of aluminum wire, which is not pretty. I unwrap this out of some old leftover 2-gauge cable from when the building was built. If it was steel, I'd use a piece of copper, but since this is aluminum, I'm going to give it something really soft. So, should do. Looks pretty good. I think I'll use a dead blow on this. See if it. Parallels. Again, not super critical. This side is definitely not down on the parallels. There we go. We're over here. This one's up a little bit. Alright, that sounds pretty firm. Tighten it a little more. Which means it might move and I'll have to whack it again. But I think we're down good. So we got put in our drill chuck. Okay, I think I've got a pointy edge finder I'll use. I could just eyeball it. I got 25 thousandths clearance between the 1/4 inch hole and the size of the bolt, so they don't have to be super close. I'll be right back. I got to hunt up. Never mind. I don't have to hunt it up. It was right here. So we'll put on one of these little pointy edge finders, and you put it in. move it around, get pretty close. I don't have a regular wiggler. It's on my list of, along with about 1,000 other things that I'd like, but don't use it too much. So, pretty good there. Let me turn on the power. Let's see here. It'll work. So get our first hole. Zoom in on that a little bit. Let's see. I think that'll show up. So it works like a regular edge finder. Stick this down in the hole. Just lock the quill a little bit. Actually, I think I'm pretty close. But move it off to the side and you can see it break. It's hard to, it doesn't break like it does with a regular edge, but it's pretty easy to see if you're up close. About that's pretty good. And it moves a little when I drop it in, so let's go over to this side just a hair. Okay, it's not breaking, so I think we're pretty good. Now let's just drill a couple holes, rinse and repeat. About as easy as it gets. You get a 1/4 inch drill. Okay, get a little WD-40 here. Looks good on aluminum. Let's see, we are aluminum. Run it fast. So yeah, we're running about 2,200 RPM, which is about half of calculated speed. That's plenty fast though. About as easy as it gets. Not much excitement to drilling holes. The only thing was the getting it aligned, and so we'll do the other 4. We'll just go straight in. Hopefully, I didn't even think about this. Hopefully we are in a spot where I can get to both sides. Nope, I'm going to actually have to take it out of the vise and turn it around. So, do the other hole in the back first. I would have had to move my vise or put the jaw back there. I suppose that would have worked, but then I can't use parallels. So, this will be fun. We'll just turn the plate around. It's not a big deal. Alright, let's see here. Lined up pretty good. That looks pretty good. And the X. Pretty good. Good enough. Anyway, I'll drill a couple more holes, turn it around, drill the other 2, and we'll see if it fits. Be right back. Okay, we're on the last hole. I had a thought though, while I was turning this around and setting up to drill the other 2, that when I actually go to drill the row, I'm not going take it out of the vise and move it to turn it around. So as much as I don't want to do it, I'm going to have to undo the vise and move it out so that we have more, can take advantage of all of our Y travel and get it done. So drill the last hole and make sure it's going to fit before we move the vise. You know, it's not a big deal. I just got to tram it in, which, you know, I've already done once today because I had moved it for something else. Alright, let's see if it fits. Zoom it out a little bit. So just take our bottom plate that we used for pattern, and assuming that I actually punched all these properly, we should just drop in and we're good to go. And like I said, we've got lots of clearance, so there's no problem. We can bolt this to the other thing and drill those. The cool part is I can actually change them without taking it out of the vise. Have the same setup for both, so they'll be exactly the same. Now I'm going to move the vise. Not a big deal. Something we got to do. Covers out of the way. I meant to show this one of the other videos. They're just paper covers, 3/16 hardboard masonite, a couple of little pieces of OSB plywood. I just cut them to fit the slots. And a little cutout in there, they just pop on. Make it a lot easier to clean. The only downside I found of these, if I use the cool mist and forget to take them off and wipe it down, I did get a spot of table rust, which really sucked. Let me grab the wrench. Sorry, let me get in front of the camera. Okay. So we need to be able to go in further, so I got to hang this over the edge out here. I think is what we'll have to do. Which is not ideal. It definitely wants to fall over. You know, we could just go this way and use our x-axis. So let's do that. Except I don't have. Dang it! That's right, I forgot. This vise doesn't have slots on the ends. Crap. Guess I could clamp it down with some strap clamps. I don't really want to do that. So we'll just go this way. You know, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I think that's half the challenge in machining anything, is figuring out the right way to hold it. Maybe not half the challenge, but it can present a challenge at times. I made these. I did not make them as small as the cheap junk ones, so they tend to fit pretty snug. Alright, but before I go to the trouble to tighten this up, I'm going to make sure, you know, I might have went the wrong direction. I did. So, that's why you check these things, right? It's got, I think, 12 inches of Y travel. about it. So yeah, we definitely got to go in further. So I went the wrong way. Glad we checked it now instead of after I trimmed the device. Some gunk off of this T-nut. These two slots don't get used much, so that's probably why it doesn't want to go in there. Gunky. There we go. Okay. Back the table out a little. Okay. You know, that still may not be enough. Because that is basically as far as it's going to go. We need to go further than that. So that's not going to work that way. At least not with those. I think we're going to be left with some strap clamps. And it's what we may have to do. Alright. Seems like everything turns into more of a project than you planned. Alright. So just have to do this on the corners. And grab some clamps. Okay, hopefully you can hear me over the furnace. I think we're going to use a couple of long ones. Put one in this corner, put one in this corner. Hopefully I'm sorry about the way of the camera. Yeah, we're going to put one in each corner. Trim the vise up. Should be good. Assuming I selected the right bolts, I think these will work. Step things in there until it's just about level. It's about as close as I can get it to the end. I like that. It's too tall. Well, let's go one step up. Not ideal, but it's pretty close. Okay. Put that on there a little snug. The other end. Shows up. Yeah, it sort of shows up. So put this there. Pretty decent bite. With the notch here, just so we have a little bit of downforce. Not as good as we're going to do. Okay. Sure, we got a trimming to do. I think we'll leave this side sort of loose and hope it pivots over here. So, I'll take the chuck out and use the big indicator. The other side. There we go. That'll work. close on the first shot, about 3/10 maybe. Go back and see where we're at. Well, we got about a foul. It's not bad for the first shot. I mean, there's 5/10 right there, so we'll just give it a tiny little tap. It's probably going to be certainly good enough to drill a row of cosmetic holes. Don't want them off by much. Let's see what we're at here. Now we're within a couple tenths. Tighten it down. Double check it just to make sure it didn't move much. And it's dead nuts. Cool, so we're good there. That wasn't so painful. Indicator out of the way. Okay, the only tricky bit, I guess, it's not going to be too tricky. We'll stick this in the parallels. Wayward chip. We'll stick this guy in here, and I'll screw the chassis to it. And we're just going to, since we squared it to this edge, when I mark the holes, we'll just consider this true, and then we're going to go along here and drill our holes. I think that'll be the right way to go. Yeah, we'll. So let me bolt the chassis to this, and I'll be right back. Well, there's the old saying that the best laid plans of mice and men, I think it's often go astray. And indeed, that is the case. So here's our chassis. Here's our little plate. Deburred the holes. Everything lines up perfectly. Unfortunately, I did not consider there's a inset in here. I would guess about 5-6 millimeters deep. So our bolts, which thread in nicely there, as you can see, they are just too short. So I need some bolts that are about 10 millimeters longer. I do not have any 6 millimeter bolts that are longer. I have some that are the same length as this. I have some longer 5s, but I don't have any 6s. And of course, I already placed an order with McMaster yesterday, so I don't want to place another one and incur double shipping charges. I don't know. I will see if I can amend my other one before it ships tomorrow, because today is Sunday. So there probably won't be anything else to see on this, because by the time the bolts get here, I'm just going to bolt it up and do the task, because the gentleman would like his amplifiers back, which I can't say as I blame him. So speaking of amplifiers, my other hobby is playing with hi-fi stuff, audio equipment, and a Facebook friend and another audiophile, audio kind of guy, has seen some of the machining photos and videos, and called me up last week or 2 weeks ago. Said, hey, I got a bunch of machinist tools. My dad had a shop and he doesn't use them, and he wanted to send them out to me, and there's no payment right now, so we'll trade in the future. So I got a kind of cool care package. Not what some of the other guys get, not really viewer appreciation mail, but still a friend and a viewer that he thought they should go to a good home. So pretty cool. Got a couple of nice little indicators. Got a little Mitutoyo 1-inch travel, it works good. The wow, that sun's coming in. I don't know if you can see this at all. Alright, sorry, the sun's decided to come through my window and it is brutally bright right now. But it looks like this shows up. So anyway, I got an old Mitutoyo 1-inch travel. It works good. There's a couple cracks in the lens. This one's actually goes, I guess it doesn't go in, it's cracked. Still completely usable. I don't know, I may see if I can get a new cover, but good shape. Has the mounting for it, including a sleeve to make it fit different things, so that's really cool. So I've got one of those, and it's got a, I think it was probably part of something else at one time. It says Mechtronics, Dallas, Texas, and he lives in Texas, so don't know what a Eureka 2 Senior was, but apparently this was part of it at one time. At least it looks like it. This does not look like it's been stuck on there. And also a nice T-clock indicator. So this one looks, I mean, it basically looks new. There's no wear marks on the paint on where you'd mount it. And it works great. 1-inch travel. Yeah, these are thousandths, so it's not metric. And it also has a mounting stud. Again, it looks unused. There's not a scratch. It's got an extra tip down there, so way cool. Thank you, sir. Get that in there. And he also sent a set of small Mitutoyo radius gauges. You can tell the boxes are definitely old, but somebody well cared for. Full set of radius gauges. I think the smallest one is 1/64, really little, up to 1/2 inch radius. Very cool. And what's even cooler is the setup. Mitutoyos I have go from 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So this gives me a full set of radius gauges from a 64th on up, and a cool little holder to hold them with. So if you want to stick them into some remote, somewhat inaccessible location, it's got a little holder you can clamp and stick them somewhere. So very cool. Thank you, sir. We will we'll figure something out. I don't know what yet, but I'm sure you'll think of something. Maybe I can make you a turntable weight. Big chunk of copper or something. Anyway, that's cool. Thank you. Nice radius gauges. A set of Mitutoyo telescope gauges, and I have a mixed batch right now of. I have 2 Mitutoyos and 4 Starretts. And actually 2 of the Starretts I have to repair. I've had them since the 70s. The rods, not the rods, but there's a little inside of these. There's a little short pin, and they actually wore out to the point where they would not retain. So nice cool set from 1/2 inch to 6 inch. So those are beautiful shape. Obviously somewhat some use, but really well taken care of. Everything's good, beautiful. Let's see, and he sent me it's a Mitutoyo depth mic set. Again, it looks almost unused. There's the adjusters, all of it's here. Everything's still in the bags. I mean, it might have been out, but if so, they are all but unused. So that is beautiful. I have a really old Brown and Sharp, goes up to 3 inches, which works good. It's actually really cool. I love old tools. So, but I don't have one that'll go down to 6. This one's nice. It's got a lock on it. My Brown and Sharp does not. So this is it's just beautiful shape. So 0 through 6 inches, really nice. I can't say thanks enough. That's really cool. And then this was the best part. I set of 12-inch Brown and Sharp dial calipers. The biggest caliper I had is an 8-inch, which is a good caliper, but I don't have a 12. And occasionally I do need one. Actually, when I measured for this little project that just failed because of the screws. It's about 8 5/8 or something like that. So these are in good shape. It's got a little goo on the back I got to clean off here, but yeah, we'll get some WD-40 and wipe that off. But these are in just beautiful condition. They zero up. I didn't even adjust it. They just zeroed up nicely. It's just great shape. I mean, they're not dinged up. They're not even hardly scratched. I don't know how much these got used, but it couldn't have been a lot. All the bubble wrap in here, everything's cut to fit. Love the old wood boxes. So I don't know if these are from the 70s or 80s. He wasn't entirely sure, but really cool nonetheless. Nice wood box. I didn't really say anything other than Brown and Sharp, so it doesn't say country of origin. I'm assuming that it's old enough to be made in the U.S. Let's see if it says on here. I don't know. No, made in Japan. Cool, so maybe they were made by pt2 for Brown and Sharp. That would be my guess. Don't know, but made in Japan. Very cool. I didn't know Brown and Sharp had stuff made in Japan, so this is the first one I've seen. My other Brown and Sharp stuff says Providence, Rhode Island. So pretty cool. I think there's one. Let's see what else he sent me. One other thing. Just a couple of. He sent me a couple of R8 arbors. So really nice. Looks like a 3/4. And then it's got another one insert inside of it to knock it down to looks like 5/16 maybe. I don't know. We got a new caliper. Let's find out. It's kind of big. So we've got 3/8, 375. So that's cool. Actually, oh look at there. It's actually a Bridgeport brand. So. Well, that's pretty cool. Bridgeport 3/8 or 3/4 R8. Well, can't get something that'll fit an R8 better than that probably, since they made that's kind of their thing. There's also a 1/2 inch, and it's a Yuasa, made in Spain. Very nice. So those will definitely be used a lot. That's very cool. Very cool. So that's about it. I really wasn't planning to do tool time thing, but these showed up in the mail the other day, and just really cool. Definitely found a home for these, and all the tools will be used. Can't have too many indicators. Might try to find a new glass cover for the pt2, but that's about it. So anyway, this was supposed to be a quick thing about the fixture, and the fixture will work great if I had the right screws. So I'll guess that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. Take care.